this lecture we are going to practice relational key constraints, that is primary key constraint and the referential key constraint, or we can say that referential key constraint is also known as a foreign key constraints. Okay, so before this lecture, hope you have watched the lecture number 5 of DBMS lecture series regarding the introduction of these relational key constraints, that is primary key, foreign key, candidate key, alternate key, etc. So in a table we can have only one primary key. So primary key can be comprises of one attribute or a combination of attribute. Means we can use one attribute for unique identification of the records or tuples, or we can use more than one attributes for the unique identification of the records. Okay, so if we are using more than one record, suppose in a table we are having no unique column, so we can use combination of column to represent each and every record of the table. So for example, we are not having any sequence number, roll number, or the or any other identification in a table, so we can use name and address as a unique identifier, because name and address uh, are can be the possible candidate for unique identification of records in a table, because in any organization we hardly have, or we can say that we cannot have more than one person with the same name from the same address. So we can use name and address as a unique primary key combination for that particular table. Okay, and if we are using more than one column as a primary key, then we can call it the composite key. Okay, so composite key can be a primary key if it's a minimal key. Okay, so as we are already selecting the minimal key as a candidate key, and from those minimal super keys or candidate keys we are selecting one of the key as a primary key, and rest of the keys are considered as a alternate key. And after choosing the alternate key and the primary key, rest of the candidate keys are considered as a secondary key. Okay, so these all topics we have covered in lecture number 5. So starting with the primary key constraint, in this we are going to create the table one by one, as we have multiple ways of creating the primary key, so we can refer any way. Okay, so here we will be practicing all the methods of creating the primary key. For that I will be creating the table and just by one method, and then dropping the table, again creating the table by using different method of creating the or declaring the primary key for the table, and then dropping the table. Okay, so don't get confused between this, we are just practicing different methods of creating the primary key. Okay, and while practicing I have to delete the table many times for creating the table with the new with using the new method and using the new way of declaring the primary key. Okay, and remember that in a table we can have only one key as a primary key. We cannot use more than one key or more than one column, more than one composite key as a primary key. So we can have only one key can be used as a primary key. Okay, be it a single column or can be the combination of column. Starting with the primary key constraint and creating the table, firstly we have to clear the connect with the system. So for connecting we have the command connect system, and password is tiger. Okay, so to clear this screen I just use the command clear screen. Next I have connected with the system after entering the password as tiger. Now creating the table, and this is the simple table we have created with the name temp with two attribute only. First is serial number and of type number size 3, and next column is name of type varchar and size as 10. So here the table is created, but we have not declared any of the column or any of the attribute as a primary key. Okay, so just dropping the table because we needed to construct the primary key. So we are deleting the table is dropped. Now again creating the same table, so we will be repeating this process again and again. Every time we will be dropping the table and recreating the table. So I am creating the table again. This time we are also constructing first or declaring first attribute as the primary key. Primary key is serial number. Just after attribute, mention the constraint you want to specify. So I want to declare this serial number as the primary key, and I have not specified any constraint for the name. Remember, we can only have the primary or referential integrity key constraints for a table. We cannot have the candidate key, super key. These are just topics that we generally use to select the keys, primary key, candidate keys. Okay, but in table we can only declare the primary key and the foreign key. Okay. So after pressing the enter, we get the message as table is created. Now table is created with two attribute. One attribute is serial number and next attribute is name, where serial number is declared as a primary key attribute. Okay, so remember that primary key is having two properties. First is not null and second is unique, means we cannot enter duplicate entries to this column. Okay, every time we enter the value must be unique. Second property is the value cannot be null, means we cannot just press the enter or we cannot leave this column blank. Okay, so this was the first method of creating the primary key. Just write primary key after the name of the attribute. So now I'm trying next method of creating the primary key, and for that I have to drop the table, because I cannot create the table with the same name again. So I am dropping the table. Now recreating the table, but this time I am also specifying the name for this constraint. Okay, remember that we can also specify names for the constraints. Okay, so by the name we get the benefit that we are having a particular ID for that constraint that we can refer in future. Suppose I want to delete a particular constraint, so I can delete that particular constraint using alter command and the name of the constraint. Okay, so I have declared, suppose pri underscore k name for the primary key, and the and we've just pressed the enter and the table is created with first field as a primary key. Okay, so here serial number is again created as a primary key, but this time we have declared the name for the constraint as well. Okay, so here the primary key constraint is defined with a particular name, that is pri underscore k, and we can refer this name. For example, now I don't want to declare the first attribute as a primary key, so we can drop this particular constraint using the alter table command. Okay, so let's describe the structure first. Temp. After describing, we can just check that serial number is of type not null, because primary key has two properties, not null and second is unique, of type number, and the name of varchar type with size 10. Okay, so primary key is declared as a null. Now we are using, so if you see carefully, there is no hard and fast rule or difference between the primary key constraint of these two syntax, because in this case, in first case, we have just written the constraint with the attribute name that we want to declare as a primary key. Sn is we want to declare Sn as a primary key, and in the second method we just provided a name. So only difference is that in second method we are also providing a particular name for that constraint. So we have provided the name pri underscore k for the constraint primary key. Okay, that is declared over the attribute name Sn. So now we can refer this name to delete the particular constraint. Alter table name temp. Now we want to drop a constraint. Okay, so now table is altered and the constraint primary key is deleted from the table. So again describing the structure. So now we are no more having the not null constraint with this attribute. Okay, so this was the first method of creating the table and the primary key, declaring the primary key. We are not having the not null constraint with the serial number attribute. Now if we want to declare the primary key after creating the table, as table is here, we can check that without any row, select R from temp. So table is created with two attribute but no key constraint, because we dropped the constraint using this alter table command. The constraint is deleted from the table. So now we can we have table is already created, but we have not defined any constraint. So we can also use alter table command to define a particular constraint for the table after creating it. Alter table name is temp. So add constraint name if we want to specify, otherwise we can just write the add primary key for the field. Okay, so add primary key, first method, for the first attribute. Okay, so now table is altered and the first column is declared as the primary key. So we can also use alter table command to add constraint to the table for particular field. So now again describing the structure of the table. So here again we are having the not null constraint with the first attribute, that is serial number. Okay, so this was a third method of creating the primary key. Again dropping the table and recreating it for trying for the next method. Drop table temp. Table is dropped. Now creating the table again without any constraint, because we want to use alter table command to add that constraint. So again we have created the table without defining any constraint. Now we can use alter table command again for declaring the constraint. The syntax is same, the only difference is that this time we are also specifying a particular name for this constraint. So alter table temp, add constraint, this over the SN attribute, first attribute of the table temp. Okay, so this was the fourth method of creating the primary key. So alter table command can be here we have used in last two method of creating the primary key. We have used alter table command for declaring the constraints for the table that is already declared, already created. Okay, so for the next method we have dropped the table again. Now we are creating the table again. This time we will be defining the constraint while creating the table. So for that, this is the best method, that we must declare first all the attributes first, as we have declared two attributes here. Next, what we can do after declaring all the attributes, here I am writing the query in second line. This 2 is default, means I am not writing the 2 over here. This 2 just indicate that I am continuing with the same query on the second line. Okay, so we can write the query in multiple lines. So this time I have declared the primary key. So this is the best method of creating the primary key, as this just define all the attributes, and after defining all the attributes and comma, then declare the constraints for the table. So here I have declared primary key constraint for the first attribute. Okay, so this is the, if I press the enter, the primary key will be created for this particular attribute. So this is the fifth method of creating the primary key or declaring the primary key for the table. So in the sixth method, we can define the name. So this is the best method always, as we have already suggested that after defining the attributes, define all the attributes for the table and then define all the constraints. So here I have defined the primary key constraint with a name pri underscore k, primary key sn. So this for this name is optional, means we can also use only primary key here with for the with the column name for which we want to declare the primary key. So this is optional. So if I press enter, the table will be created with the primary key or first attribute as the primary key. So this we can check this by describing the structure of the table. Here we have not null constraint for the first attribute. Okay. So these were the method of creating the primary key. Let's enter some of the values to the table. For that we have the insert command, insert into table name. Primary column is entered in the next line. So first serial number is 44 and the name is SS. Okay. So next, again repeating the insert command. This slash is used to repeat the insert command. So again repeating the insert command, we are entering 33 and name is this. Again repeating the insert command, 7 this time and the name is. Repeating the command, this time I am entering 22 and the name is HH. Okay. So listing the table, let's start from temp. Here we have 4 rows for the table. So we have entered 4 rows in this table. Now let's check for the primary key properties. Okay, as primary key has having the property of uniqueness and not null. Okay, so if we trying to enter a duplicate value, as table is already having 44 and 3, 33, 77 and 22 in the serial number column. So if we try to repeat any of the value, the row will not be inserted into the table. Okay, let's try. I'm trying to enter 33 and with any name. Okay, so here if we press the enter, we get the error that unique constraint, that is constraint name is pr underscore k, is violated, means we cannot enter the duplicate value as it is violating the unique constraint for the table temp. Okay, so we are not allowed to enter the duplicate value in the table. So again repeating the insert command. Now this time I will be trying the second property, violating the second property, that is enter null value. So I just press the enter, means I tried to enter the null value into the primary attribute of the table. So with any of the name. So after pressing the enter, we will be getting that cannot insert null into the table. Okay, so we are not allowed to enter the null value into the primary field, into the primary column. So here as sn is declared as a primary attribute, so we cannot just press enter for this value, or we cannot enter the null value. Okay, so this is our table. This is our table. Here we are not allowed to put any of the duplicate value or the null value. Okay, and this is the specified names corresponding to these column. So this is the primary table or the master table. Now we are trying with the referential integrity constraint or the foreign key constraint, and for that we need to define a child table or the detail table, we can say that, where we can use the primary key of this table as a reference key for the new table. Okay, so if you are having any doubt related to primary key, foreign key. So please revise the concept with lecture number 5. Here the primary key is just mean that all the child table, we can have more than one reference table or the child table, and all the child table are having any of the attribute that is referring to the primary attribute, that is serial number of this table. Okay, and in all the reference table or all the child table, we cannot have any entry except 44, 33, 77, 22. 22. So all the child table will be having the entries for from this column only, means we can have only 44, 33, 77, 22 in the foreign key only. So these four values are allowed only for the foreign key. We cannot enter any of the fifth value. Okay, so second thing, we can change the name of the foreign key attribute in the child table. And third thing, in foreign key attribute we can repeat the values, means serial number or the reference key or the foreign key in the child table can have the duplicate values. Okay, so let's create the table first. Create table. We are giving it the name as temp underscore child with two attributes. Serial number, we are just renaming the attribute as serial number for this serial number, but it is we want to refer this column with to this column. Okay, so all the values on this column are going to be the element of the primary key of this table. Okay, so serial number as number of size 3, and we are taking another column as course. You can take any of the column. This is just an example. Next, we want to define serial number as a foreign key for the temp table. So defining the foreign key as, we are just giving the name. This is optional to give the name for a constraint, but it's always a best practice to provide a name. So foreign key as a name, and constraint is foreign. Constraint name is foreign key, and constraint name that we have given is a fk, but constraint is foreign key. And foreign key for the attribute, for which attribute we want to define as a foreign key for serial number, that is going to references temp table and sn, attribute sn of the temp table. Okay, so this is the complete syntax. Here the table is message displayed at table created. So we have created another table with two attributes, serial number and course, where serial number is created as a foreign key, which is referring to the temp table, or we can say that primary key of temp table. Okay, this sn is optional here. It is understood that any foreign key is going to refer the primary key of that particular table only. Okay, so we can also skip this attribute name in defining the constraint, because this is optional. The if we are just referring that references temp, it obviously mean that we are going to refer the primary key of that table. Okay, so this attribute name is optional here. We can skip this attribute name. Next, now we are trying to enter the values to this table. So insert, we have to run the insert command. Now the table name is temp underscore child. Values we want to enter for serial number and course. Serial number and course. Now we are trying to enter a value. So we are entering the value as 33 and course is CSC. One row created because 33 was allowed to enter, because 33 is a foreign key and it is referring to the primary key 33 of the parent table. So here this is the child table and the temp table to which it is referring is the primary table or the master table. Okay, so this is the child table or the detail table. Okay, we can have more, we can define more than one table as a child table. Okay, so we can have any number of table as a child table, but we for a primary key, master table will be only one. For a particular field as primary key, master table will be only one. So don't confuse with this concept. So again, inserting another row into the child table. Enter value as, suppose I have entered 22 and the course is IT. Again entering the value as 33. I'm repeating 33 because we have already an entry with 33 serial number in the child table. This time the course is ME. Okay, so we have entered 3 rows in the child table. Now select start from just displaying the rows. Okay, so in this is our foreign key that is referring to the table temp. Okay, and by referring table temp means it is referring to the primary key of temp, and we cannot have any entry here that is not part of the temp table. Okay, so describe, let's display the temp table as well. So all the entries in this child table are belonging to the primary table. So here we have 33, we are also having 33 in the parent table. We have 22, we are also having the same entry in the parent table. Okay, so now just try to enter one entry that is not in the master table, that is not present in the master table. So suppose I try to enter 55, as 55 is not in the master table. So let's check whether it going to enter into the table or not. 55, and the course we can specify as any course. Now it is giving the error as integrity constraint is violated, means we are not, parent key not found, means if we are trying to enter 55 in the reference or the foreign key, so we are not having any parent key corresponding to this value, means 55 is not present in the primary attribute of the master table. So we are not supposed to enter such entry or such records in the child table. Okay, so this is the main thing, main properties of the referential integrity constraint. For any value to be entered into the foreign attribute, it must be the part of the parent table. Okay, so here as we have 33, 22 and 33, we can have repeated value, duplicate value in the foreign key attribute, because this is just referring, but the value should be part of the primary key. Just one condition is this. Now second property of the foreign key is this: we cannot delete any entry. Okay, first property was we cannot enter any entry to the foreign key that is not present in the master table. Second property is we cannot delete any entry from the master table that is not present in the child table. Okay, for example, okay, here we have master table is temp having these entries, and the corresponding entry is also present in the child table for 33 and 22. Now try to delete any row from the master table having the corresponding entry in the child table. So for that, for deleting a particular row, we have the delete command, delete from temp, where we are specifying the where clause, where serial number equals to 33. Okay, so we are trying to delete a record from the master table that is having corresponding entry in the child table. Okay, or we can say that more than one entry in the child table. So whenever we press the when we press the enter, we will get the error as integrity constraint violated, means child record found. The entry we were trying to delete from the master table is having some of the child record in some of the child table or the detail table. So we are not supposed to delete it from the master table, and to delete a record from the master table, we need to delete it first from all the child tables. Okay, so repeat the command delete from. Now we are deleting the entry from the child table. Okay, so condition was that we cannot delete any entry from the master table until it is having any entry record in the corresponding record in the child table. Okay, so firstly we have to delete the record from the child table, only then we can delete the record from the master table. So delete from temp child where serial number equal to 33. Sorry, here we are not having SN. In the child table we are having SR and O. So two rows are deleted because in child table we were having two rows with serial number 33. Now we are trying to delete the end. Let's display the records from both table. Here is a master table and here is the child table. So we are left with only one entry in child table as we have deleted the record for 33 serial number. So we were having two rows of 33. Now let's try to enter the record from the temporary table or the master table. Okay. Now this command is successful because we have already deleted the entry from the child table. 33's records are deleted from the child table. Now we can delete the record from the master table. Okay, so we were not able to delete the record from the master table until it is having entry in any of the child table. Okay, and once we deleted the record from the child table, then we can also delete the corresponding record from the master table. Same way as this temp table is having one child table, so we cannot drop this table. So let's check this out. Drop table temp. As we were trying to delete a master table that is having any reference table as a child table, so it is showing the error that this table, or we can say that primary key of this table is referenced by some of the foreign key. Okay, so delete any of the primary table. First condition is we need to delete the corresponding child table. So for deleting temp table, firstly we have to delete the child table. Drop table temp child. Now we can delete this table also. Okay, so this was all about the practical of the primary key constraint and the foreign key constraint. If you have any doubt, you can drop the comment or you can ask me in the your practical sessions. Okay, so bye for now and practice well.